How's it going, everybody? Ed Ricker here. I just wanted to make an update video for a couple different reasons, and so here it is. First of all, last video I made was a video for VSDC free video editor. It was a video kind of a tutorial on how to edit using that free software, and I was also giving away some codes, some free codes to the pro version. Congratulations to Greg Hicks as well as Nani's Kitchen for winning the first 2 of those licenses. There's still 8 to be given away, 1 per week, so keep entering to win. You can find out the details on how to enter to win on that video. But I wanted to say that VSDC let me know they had just released a new software build, and there's a couple improvements and a couple changes on this new build since I've made that video tutorial. One being that you can have multiple clips on the same video layer. That was something you couldn't do when I first made the tutorial a couple weeks ago. Second of all, you can use a hue and color grading wheel adjustment system as opposed to sliders, which is also really cool. So just a couple updates, just want to let you know about that in case you download the software, the free version, and you say, oh, this looks a little different than Ed's tutorial. That's why. Now for the second part of this video, I just wanted to give you an update on what I've been doing. Haven't really been telling you guys much about what's going on in my life. I put out a few videos here and there, but really it's a busy time for me. I've done a lot of videography with my videography business, Sandhills Videography. As most of you probably know, I'm a freelance videographer, so I do a lot of videography for whatever needs to be done. I mean, I'm kind of a jack of all trades. I'm not really great at any one thing, but I can do a lot of types of videos for people, both alone and also hiring colleagues to help me out as part of a crew. So it's really fun for me. It's something that I've been working on since 2011. And I've kind of always had when I had a different type of job, and that was kind of on the side, and all of a sudden transitioning in 2016 to full-time freelance videographer before YouTube took off in any great degree. When I lived in Pembroke, North Carolina, and I moved there in 2013 to work at University of North Carolina at Pembroke. I met a lot of people there, both at the university, but also in the community. And the community is kind of small. You know, if you exclude the university, it's a very high Native American population. That's the majority of the populace there. And then the university is more, the demographic is more diverse. UNCP was initially founded by American Indians. So that's kind of the cultural, the historic foundation for the entire region there. So when I worked at UNC Pembroke and then subsequently quit there to focus on my freelance videography, I met a lot of people of the Lumbee tribe there, the American Indian tribe called the Lumbees. They do powwows. They have a large presence there with helping their members, and it's a community effort and everything. But they have 2 main busy times of the year that I work with them quite a bit on. First is their powwow. It's like their spring powwow. It happens early May usually, and it's like a 3-day event, but there's a lot of stuff leading up to it. So it's a lot of filming of that. And then also their Lumbee Homecoming, which happened just last week, and they have a ton of events going on leading up to and into that week. So I've been filming a ton of that stuff. I wanted to show you some of the things that I've done. It's a very colorful, culture-rich experience. I'm not Native American, at least not that I know. I'm mostly French with some German and some Polish, if I recall. But either way, I think it's really interesting to be involved with some of the work that they've done down there, with the videos that I've made. And over the course of the last 3 or 4 years, I've really gotten to know some of the people down there. It's been fun, you know? So some of the first things that I did was they have a cultural center, and they really like me to take drone shots as things happen there. So they've done a lot of renovations. They have this amphitheater where they're going to be doing some of their performances, some theatrical performances that they have. And it's been run down for at least a dozen years or more. So they've just finally got it going again. Took some drone shots of that. They have a garden out there, so they asked me to take some drone shots of that whenever I'm out there as things continue to grow and crops can, you know, kind of rotated in and out. The cultural center is also where their powwows take place. So I was filming some of their powwow stuff about a couple months ago, and that is a really interesting event. It's a 3-day long event. It's loud with a lot of drums and a lot of singers and a lot of dancers, and it's just cool to see all the intricacies that you wouldn't necessarily know about unless you attended a powwow or attended some of their cultural classes like that. You can also buy a bunch of food. You can buy all these different souvenirs and trinkets and jewelry and just all this cool stuff. And most, if not all of it, is made by the local people. It's real, handmade. For the powwow, I used my Panasonic DVX200 for most of those tripod locked off shots or panning shots with the tripod. And then I used the GH5, Panasonic GH5 for some of the close-ups and some of the B-roll. And then I also used my Mavic 2 Zoom, I believe, to fly over during those day aerial shots of the powwow. It looked really cool. Of course, I didn't want to fly over people, so I stayed far back and then kind of got a nice shot of the powwow grounds there off in front of me. But with homecoming here, one of their big events is their pageants. There's a Miss Lumbee, a Teen Miss Lumbee, a Junior Miss Lumbee, and a Little Miss Lumbee. And so these four, there's also a Senior Miss Lumbee. I didn't film that pageant this year, but these other four ambassador girls, they all run through this pageant. There's a new one every single year. So in the time leading up to this year's pageant, I did a video for the outgoing Junior Miss Lumbee, her last walk across the stage, you know, and hugging people and seeing family and friends out in the audience as like her final farewell during the event. She has this slideshow play with a bunch of pictures, but she also has this footage of her. We did a little video shoot. We shot in slow-mo. It looks really dramatic and cool, and it's shots of her and her community, some of the landmarks that she really cares about, her church, her school that she went to, some of the road marker signs, the fire station, the volunteer fire station nearby, just some of those recognizable areas. Now for this video, I shot entirely with the Panasonic GH5, and I used V-Log as the color profile. So I squeezed a lot more dynamic range. It can go up to 12 steps of dynamic range with the GH5 using V-Log. I used a mixture of tripod, I used a mixture of handheld, and then also I used the DJI Ronin S for some of these smooth motion shots. The last shot of the day, the sun was going down. I saw we were about to lose the sun. I said, hey, you want to stand right here as we use this last little bit of natural light? And we got this really cool lighting on her face. It looks so warm and radiant. I didn't do barely any color correction to this entire video. That's the beauty of shooting in golden hour, which is like that hour before sunset when the sun's low in the sky. You can get some awesome, colorization and lighting effects, especially on someone's skin. Now this video played during her final walk of the pageant. So I was able to see and hear the reception of the people in the audience who really seemed to enjoy it. We got a nice applause out of it, and I feel proud of the work I did, but also, she did a great job with, her reign the last year and everything that she has stood for and supported. Shooting the pageants themselves, I used a 2-camera setup with 2 tripods. And then I actually recorded the audio separately using a H4n zoom. The 2 cameras were my Panasonic DVX200 and my Panasonic UX90. They both have really good zoom. They're not great in low light, but luckily the stage was lit well. And so one was more of a wide shot, kind of locked off, and then the other one was a close-up where I would follow the person around as they danced or they sang or they did whatever. Another big thing that happens during Lumbee Homecoming is their State of the Tribe address. I use the DVX200 again as a zoom in for the majority of the actual speech, but then when I went around and got some comments from people and took some B-roll of people as they got some food, I use my GH5 almost exclusively for that. And I just use my Rode VideoMic Pro Plus for the audio capturing when I was talking to people and interviewing them. As a lone interviewer, it's kind of difficult to interview people when you're also holding the camera. So, I mean, I'll say, look at me, and I'm gonna have the camera off to the side, but I'm peeking over there to see if they're in frame and they're still in focus. And so invariably they might look into the lens just because I am too. I'm kind of looking at the camera. It's not the best way to go, but when you're working alone, you can kind of make it work. So I just hold the camera off to the right and then have them talk to me to the left. And just for some variety, I would also flip it on my other shoulder so I can get a couple people looking the opposite direction as well. After the State of the Tribe address, they also had a culture class where they kind of talked a little bit about their culture and how they dance and how they sing and things about the drum and all that. They get a bunch of youth together and they get them really excited about the culture and some of the things that they do. Finally, my most recent project was filming their Strike at the Wind outdoor drama. In the last decade or two, it actually really hasn't been an outdoor drama. It's been indoors because of that amphitheater at the Cultural Center that hadn't been renovated and was kind of falling apart. Well, now, due to the new renovations, they were able to have the outdoor Strike at the Wind drama happen again, and that just happened a day or two ago. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to wait until now to make this video, is to show you some of that footage, because it was just a really awesome day. I also got permission to fly the drone during the performance. I didn't fly over anybody, but I did some drone videography off to the side and kind of behind the stage. It was actually really cool. Now, if that wasn't enough, I'm also doing some dance recitals. I've done 3 different companies' dance recitals, and there are about five or six total. So there, a couple of these dance companies have 2. And they hire me every year as well. So it's really nice to have these repeat customers. Some are in Rockingham, North Carolina. Some were in Southern Pines, North Carolina. So just bouncing around. I'll shoot the dance recital and they take orders from the parents. And so the parents will order DVDs. And so that's where I make my money, is I make the DVDs, mail them off to the company, who then distributes them to the parents who have ordered from them. So I don't actually have to mail individual DVDs to parents, which is great. They handle all that. But since the dance company is actually charging the parents a little bit, well, either the same or maybe a little bit more than what I'm charging the dance company, they're actually making their money back, and maybe even a little more in some instances, and that covers deposit and that type of thing. And so I just give them 80, 90 copies of the recital, or however many were ordered by the parents, in a huge box, and consider it done. I've also covered a few fundraiser events in Pembroke. There was an art auction that I was able to cover, and it's always fun to watch the auctioneer work the magic in the crowd as he's taking bids and that type of thing. It's really cool to see.
$500, here we go 5, yes, and now we go 550, here we go 550, here we go 550, here we go 5, yes, and now we go $600, here we go 600, give them some encouragement, $600, now we go 600, yes, and now we go 650, you can do it, 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 650, encourage her, yes, $700, here we go 777, now we go 700, now we go 7.
I also filmed a couple sets of some comedians recently. I've also filmed a retirement party at a country club nearby, and there have been a few other projects too that I can't necessarily show you or talk about, but that's how some video projects are, you know? It's been a busy time of year, but I can't complain. I think that's a good thing, and I'm glad. But I just wanted to let you guys know a little bit about what I was up to. I think it's kind of interesting because before I knew about the Lumbee tribe and met some of their people in order to work with them as a freelance videographer, I didn't really know they existed. I didn't know just how much culture is here that we just don't come into contact with, you know, in certain other areas of the state. And it's not even that far away, you know. I'm driving there quite a bit. I can do it in a day trip easily. So yeah, it kind of blew my mind a couple years ago when I first learned of all this. So anyway, just wanted to let you guys know a little bit about what I'm doing. Didn't fall off the face of the earth, but I've just been doing some of the freelance videography that I've been doing the last couple years, honestly. If you have any questions about videography and more about what I do or my approach, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Again, check the VSDC tutorial I made before this video if you want to enter to win some of those pro licenses. Again, it's one per week. I think I'm picking them once every Monday. And so we got another 2 months worth of giveaways because we got another 8, licenses to give away. So take care, everybody, and I hope you have a good one.